Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Go ahead, buddy.
More importantly, we are joined by two special guests. First, my friend, dear friend, Demario North. He's going to say hi. He's there.
Hey, hello.
He's going to be hanging around in the background here. He's going to pop in a little bit later. But most importantly, and what you guys would recognize, we have Mark Long. Mark Long, famous from the Road Rules, famous from the Challenge franchise, two-time champion, one-time shadow champion, also fellow Philadelphian to myself, so a special place in my heart. Mark, welcome to the show. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. I always love meeting other Philly friends, my brother. We can talk cheesesteaks. We can talk Fallcroft, Upper Darby, which everyone doesn't know what that is, but you and I know what it is.
We do, Mark. And I don't want to start this on a sour note because we're here mainly to talk about charity and how we could give back. But like, what happened to the Eagles, bud?
Listen, a lot of people are blaming that last terrible call, which I do believe it was a terrible call, but you can't as a whole rely on one play to win the game. So I feel like, did we play better? I feel like we did. Did we drop the ball literally, like in some places? Yes. So I think, you know what? It was a fun year. I think we're Jalen Hurts is now just a stud. And I think we're going to, not that we're going to do, have such a great record next year, but I feel like we're going to be in a good spot at the end of the season. So we'll see, man. It's a fun time to be a Philly fan.
It's a fun time to be in town. I see that you were in town last week. It's always great to see you around. Definitely got to see you at a game next year for sure, because we always are down there. So, yeah, no, for sure. So listen, we got to get into the actual charity stuff, but I really quickly, the challenge is interesting, right? Because if you look at it on its surface, the challenge is, a game show for money, right? It is it was one of the originals, but now one of a million reality competition shows that are out there. So I kind of have two questions, kind of a two-parter here. One, what do you think makes the challenge different and why it continues to be what it is and continue to grow? And now there are multiple franchises, and we'll talk about that. And two, just for you personally, like, what does it mean to you to be part of something that is so important, not only to the cast members, but people love this show, right? I mean, it is a big, to some people, it is like one of the most important things in their lives. Like, so how is that? I'm sure originally when you got cast back in 1995, you never imagined it would become this.
No, I didn't. And you know what? I always thought there was an opportunity for me to grow within MTV. I didn't know what it was at the time. I just knew I had such a good time on Road Rules. And I was hoping and praying that it would evolve into something. So thank God the challenge did happen. But I think one of the things that separates the challenge from other competition shows is the audience literally grew up watching us. So we were like, now it's almost like when you watch the first episode of Friends, and then when Friends ends, you're like, well, man, I feel like my family's, like it's ending. So I think we were one of the few reality competition shows that people have been watching for 20 plus years. And, there's a soft place in my heart for like the older cast members and the older themes and whatnot. But we also evolve every year, and it gets, the stunts get more, difficult. The personalities get bigger. I think back in the day when the prize money wasn't so high, we kind of did it for fun. It's like, yeah, I'll play for the Tempur-Pedic bed in the race. So like now, because it's so elevated, and it's almost literally like, when I always laugh, because when we first did the challenges, we didn't have they didn't put a weight room in for us. Like, there was no exercise area. It was just like, here's the fridge with beer, and then hopefully you guys don't, what I'm saying? So like now it's like the state of the art fitness area, and like the stuff that they're doing is really gnarly, which I love. Even on All Stars, we still do gnarly stuff. But I just think the growth that the audience could take and the ride they could take with us, since people were teenagers all the way up until now, even, late 40s and 50s, it's amazing. And I feel like, we're family to them now, and vice versa. When I meet people in the audience that I've seen for a while, it's exactly the same way back.
It's such an interesting point you make. Brian and I were both 90s babies. So again, we said offline, we grew up with the real world. We grew up, like you said, with your franchise. And it is funny because a lot of my fondest memories of the old challenge are like the parties. You guys have the toga parties. And it was, I was in a fraternity. It informed, because I remember watching you guys before I went away to school. And again, during that early 2000s and stuff, that was like the culture, right? It was the party culture. It was the,
Yeah.
and like you said, we grew up with you guys. And now it's funny because we watch All Stars, and Brian and I are jokingly saying we're in our early 30s, but we feel old. And I'm like, I feel like that'd be my speed right now. I feel like I want to go to the All Stars. Actually, I don't, 100-hour challenge pass, you know, like for, no, thank you. Like
Billy and Brian, if you do notice, there's a different tone in All Stars. Like it is a more fun tone. If you watch All Stars, and you even watching TJ in All Stars, he just laughs at us the entire time. There's no type of like seriousness to him. I mean, he's serious sometimes, but like he's laughing the entire time. And I think that's what I wanted from that show. Like I didn't want this to be the older version of the regular challenge. Like I wanted some goofiness. Like the very first season of All Stars, when we did like that 90s party, the way it was edited was so good. It was just like, it just brought everyone back. And I just think it was like what it needed. And, you know, I love the franchise show, and I think it's great, but I put up a couple clips lately of just some old throwback stuff of us just goofing off, and like people love that. And I think that, again, that leads to the fact that they've known us as real people for so long. They're like, oh man, I wish I could party with those guys. They're so fun. Or that girl is so hilarious. So I think it's grown as well. And just in terms of having that camaraderie with the audience.
I mean, you're right. I just think specifically for me, like we're about to do a thing in March Madness. We're about to have like our favorite seasons of shows during the year, kind of a bracket style. And I kind of envision the future doing things like moments and people. And that clip last year with Ayanna eating the chicken salad in the fridge. Like, I ate your salad. I knew it was yours. I would do it again. And like that would never happen on the real challenge right now. They're too busy threatening each other's friendships and like their real lives and everything. And you guys are out there again, just like having fun. So kind of piggyback off of that. What was that really the major motivation? Because again, you're attributed of being really the one that spearheaded All Stars. I mean, what really was your motivation? Because I would think like for a lot of you guys, and a lot of you guys stayed in great shape and really do kill it, that like they would have had you back to the main franchise if you wanted back in. So what made you want to do this as opposed to jumping back in? Because not for nothing, that's big money they're playing for right now.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that I knew, because I'm like you guys, like just how you guys were like fans of the challenge, like even to this day, like if I hear the original 90210 music kick in from the show, like I get excited. It puts a smile on my face because I was like into that series and into that show. But I just think there was a nostalgic piece of television that was missing, that I think by doing All Stars and pitching that and having some of these great characters back, I think I knew it was going to be a hit. And the fact that when I threw out the first couple tweets, everyone went bananas. I just knew that we were onto something. And you know what? Here's when I knew it was really great is when they released I think it was like an 8-second trailer just showing the helmets with some names on it, and it blew up and got like, you know, over 5 million views just on the helmet thing. So before we shot this, before the second season of All Stars even was thinking about being a thing, they put that first season trailer out. And when that went crazy, after we shot the first season, the second season was picked up before the first episode even aired. So I knew we were, and Paramount was like, oh, these guys are onto something. So I just think it's a nostalgic atom bomb for people that grew up when I grew up, you know, and the music is different.
Yes.
You know, we can cuss on Paramount. That's kind of cool. You know what I mean? They don't put it out. But the music, that soundtrack rides that entire series. I mean, DMX is on it. They'll throw in some friggin' Backstreet Boys, everything you can imagine.
Mark, we say it on every single review you could look. We always talk about how the soundtrack, especially on All Stars, are bangers. I had that written down here.
Yeah, there was one part where you guys like played Rough Riders anthem, and it was like you guys were partying. I think like Cyrus was like coming out like dancing. I was like, this is awesome. This is great.
I that scene. It was like they started that song when Tech was like dancing on the beach, and they went back in the house.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Yeah.
Brian, before we transition over to the charity stuff, do you have anything else for Mark, just challenge related?
Yeah. So my question is like, so for All Stars, is there anybody like a big fish that you guys are trying to get in the future to like come on to All Stars?
Well, there's two. Like there's Landon and there's Coral. And
okay.
Coral like pops in every once in a while just to kind of just be like, hey, I'm still here. But Coral is really busy. I think she wants to do it, but I don't know if she's hesitant where she thinks she's like going to do a bad job and like ruin her rep. You know what I mean? Like, so like that's kind of a feeling I have. Not that I'm saying it is. I'm speaking on my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think she left on such a high note. She was like, man, I set the bar so high. What if I lay an egg and like get sent home first or whatever? So like, but I think maybe we'll get her at some point. And Landon's tricky because he's so passionate about his job. He's in dental sales. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing ever, I'm sure, but it's a career. He's been doing it. I just think he needs to be offered the right situation to participate. He's always like, send me $1 million and I'll do it. I'm like, dude, if that was the show, wouldn't even be a show. We can't pay everyone $1 million, but I think Landon would do really well, and I think he'd actually enjoy being back. And I think Coral would love being back because it would give her a chance to get on that platform again and show people who she was that haven't seen her, because she was so funny.
I just want to just pull these people in. I mean, I watch even the clips pop up on my TikTok, especially a lot, and just old clips and just people that not that you forget about them, that there was anything wrong with them, but like I just had like a few clips with like Frank. I forgot about Frank. Frank was good, but it's like I haven't seen him in 15 years, right? It's like
Frank was great. Like there's so many. I mean, people forget that Theo was on the challenge. Theo Vaughn.
Oh yeah, because everyone knows him as a podcaster now.
Yeah, he was a big challenge guy for a while, but like the Miz was always great. The Miz can't because of his contract and stuff, but like I've talked to the Miz many times. He says, it looks like it's super fun. I think he wishes he could come back. It's just because of the WWE thing, it doesn't make sense. But
no,
we'll see. I mean, you never say never, right? So
right.
No, for sure. I think Mike would have a blast, honestly.
He'd love it. He probably wouldn't want to leave.
No, he probably wouldn't. Listen, Maurice could do it too. She would do awesome too.
Who?
Maurice. Wifey would do awesome too. I mean, they could do it as a pair. Yeah, she would definitely well.
Like a couples thing, those two would dominate.
Oh, for sure. So love kind of like going down memory lane, but obviously, and you can see here in the title of the video, the main reason that we wanted to talk to Mark is that we talked about the channel. Like we appreciate everyone in the viewership. You guys have given a lot to us, and we really feel like it's really time to start giving back and also do this for another reason besides just having fun and doing our reviews. So I actually have been friends with Demario for a long time. We've been in a few different charity groups, social groups, but I did see that there was one particularly that made sense for us, and it was called the Hearts of Reality, attached with the Give Kids the World Village. Mark, you would do a much more apt job at describing the section and the subsection. So kind of floor is yours. I want you to let the audience know about it. And then we'll kind of play off that with a few other things charity wise that you guys are involved in.
Oh, for sure. So Hearts of Reality, it started, I believe, 14 years ago. And at that point, it was basically me and like 6 other reality stars, coming together over a weekend and bringing awareness and trying to raise money for a specific organization called Give Kids the World. And Give Kids the World is special to me because it's located in Central Florida. I grew up and went to college at University of Florida. So I live in Orlando now. My parents live in Vieira, which is about 45 minutes from Orlando. But Give Kids the World charity is amazing because it actually brings families that have kids that are dealing with terminal illness. They bring them into the village, which is it's like a little mini Disney World in itself. It's just so colorful. They have everything under the sun there. They've got a pool. They've got an ice cream shop that's open 24 hours a day. When the kids are there for the full week, they celebrate a Christmas and a Halloween. So it's almost like kind of giving these kids a chance at happiness that they haven't had because of doctor's appointments, because of surgeries, because of just being in a rut of being sick. And a lot of people they've had, and Demario, this, they've had so many kids come up and they're just sick and tired of being sick. They just want to like be kids for like a few days. And I had a mother come up to me and said, my kid literally has not smiled in 3 months. And this week here, he's smiled, his face hurts, so like that's what touched me is like, it's one thing, sickness is terrible at any age, but it's one thing if a 90-year-old, great grandfather is sick, or if an 8-year-old, because the grandfather lived their entire life and got to see some stuff. But it's always been a special place in my heart. We take care of the travel. We take care of the food. All the parks are free. They do VIP throughout the park. So they can go on the village and do anything they want. There's talent stuff. There's pool parties. When we're there, we do a pirate party. So it's really cool. And I think the most special thing for me is when I invite my reality stars that have never been, because they really don't know what it is. They're dealing with charities sometimes that you'll go and, part of the money goes here, and it's just basically got like a party fest all the time. You don't even really see the charity. Well, the thing that sets us apart is we bring all the reality stars to the village. They meet the kids, they meet the families. It's hands-on, and every dollar goes to that village. It's not like we take 50% portion. Every dollar goes to the village, and that's how it survives every year. So the best and most, gratifying situations for me is when I bring people there and they get to see the village and get to see the kids actually talk. They come up to me after and like, dude, you didn't tell me I was going to cry tonight. They're like these stories are so compelling that it, like Nehemiah, Jeanne was there this year. Johnny was there this year. They're like, dude, bring me back here. Like, this is different than any other charity thing I've done. And unless you've been there, it's hard to explain, because these kids are just so sick of being sick. It's so nice to see them smile and see their families actually have a break for a second and not have to deal with hospitals and doctors. So I've been doing it since day one, and I love Give Kids the World.
It's absolutely amazing. The point that kind of really struck home with me was the wanting to be looked at just as kids and not different. I've coached in the past. I've done Special Olympics coaching up until this recent year. And it's the same type of kind of perception, right? They just want to be looked at as kids, not kids with special needs, not as separate, and be looked at just, it's that lens that we all have. Unless we're all human beings, right? We all have sympathy and we feel bad, but like, people can see you looking at them and feeling bad, right? They can tell you feel sorry for them, and they don't want that, right? And so it's just so powerful, and it might sound so simple, but it's not an easy thing to do, right? And what you're saying is so awesome. Yeah,
and if you guys ever get a chance, you should come down there in that week, because it's literally, I had a fan, his name's Brian, who comes to all the Challenge Mania live events that we do with another organization. He came to Give Kids the World, and after the first night, because we all literally hang out, there's like 120 reality stars hang out. He was like, "This is the greatest thing ever. This is like in terms of, if you're a reality fan, just coming and getting to meet the people that your favorites, or that you like and that are your favorites, that in itself is amazing. But the cherry on top is those people as well get to go to the village and get to see these people. And it's just, you leave with your heart full and feeling grateful that you're a part of it, rather than, some charity things where it's just like a drink fest. You don't even really know why you're there. You don't see anything. It's like, yeah, we raised a couple bucks. Like, we raise hundreds of thousands of dollars in those, in that certain amount of time. So it's amazing, man. And Omar, that's kind of heads it up, Omar's up there giving speeches, getting emotional. And then half the cast members are like, it's just a really powerful moment. And I think the fact that you guys are kind of putting that spotlight on it is awesome.
No, it's definitely something that we've wanted to do from the beginning. The kind of one, obviously having the allegiance here with Demario and with Mania Club. And I do want to kind of talk about wrestling of it here in a second. I'm not going to let you go before we talk about wrestling. But it's just, we want to be able to do it for a good reason. The whole reason this whole channel started was just to reconnect. Brian and I went to college together. I was doing some podcasting. We had a mutual friend. We kind of reconnected that way. And then through honest conversations, I'm still mostly just watching reality TV. We were reviewing movies, television shows, more, you'd say serious kind of things like Marvel movies, all the kind of stuff like that. And honestly, that to me became a little less fun. And we were like, I'd honestly rather just start reviewing the reality shows we're watching. I think there's a lot more guys out there like us who are sitting there watching with their wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands. And there's honestly a lot of people that probably don't hear it from our type of voice. Honestly, we're not like totally transparent. We're not spoiler guys. We don't like go in the dirt sheets for reality. Like, to us, that's no fun. Like, we watch everything along with you. And listen, if that's your game, and you're making money, God bless you, whatever. But it's just not how we wanted to pursue it. And I think it makes it more genuine, because like, I honestly want to be able to have an interview with someone and ask, like, what do you think about the season, where meanwhile I already know what happens. Right.
It's so funny you say about different like men and reality shows. Like, my brother has 2 daughters, my nieces. He's the one that watches Real Housewives the most of them. So he's Housewives, he's watching Below Deck, he's watching Vanderpump Rules. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Watch all of them, man. Again, I was doing that way before I had a YouTube channel. Like, I would be doing it even if YouTube was gone tomorrow. I'm still watching the shows. I'm still texting Brian or texting our other group chats about different shows. So 100%. But like I said, I did tease a little bit. So I met Demario through another awesome charity and organization, Mania Club, supports the Jimmy V Foundation, pediatric cancer research. I'll have that link in here as well in the video. But you guys met, and you've been dipping your toe in wrestling a little bit. Specifically, I have the name here, the Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. So Mark and Demario, I want to hear from both you guys, the wrestling connection, you two guys, and also how that is contributing to charity as well. Something wrestling fans, another thing that people may not think would be a big charity hub, but I've come to see it firsthand, is a huge driver for charity efforts.
Yeah, and I'll jump in real quick, and then you can take it away, Demario. Matthew Mashler and Neil the Heel Glazier, 2 awesome guys. I met them at Give Kids the World, and they weren't really challenge fans back in the day when I met them, but they were wrestling fans. So they were like, hey, do you ever watch wrestling? And I was like, absolutely. One of my good friends is The Miz. That snowballed into us becoming friends outside of just that weekend, going to the events and whatnot, and knowing how we were all really passionate about wrestling. So Matthew one day, I think, was like, you know what, I think I'm going to start an organization, but I want to do it right. Like, I don't want to do it like a regular, old indie show. Like, it's top notch. All the wrestlers on the card are either ex WWE or current AEW or ex NXT. And then there's me, who's not any of those. But I just always thought, like, I was a big wrestling fan growing up, and I just always thought, and still see, the fan base of the challenge and the fan base of wrestling is really similar. Because I'll give you, for instance, I went to WrestleMania last year, and I was walking through down to the ring, and I haven't heard my name or the Godfather scream so many times other than being at reality events. So that fan base of wrestling and reality TV are very similar. They're very passionate. They're lunatics, which I love.
Sure.
So they were like, you should do a match. So I did my first match with a tag team. Kind of loved it. Did my next match with Noah Kakoa from NXT. Loved that. Did my last match with a gentleman named Steve Macklin. He's on Impact Wrestling. I want to say he did something illegal. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a little too hard, but I left the ring with 2 fractured ribs. So I literally, and I remember the next day, he's like, you should just foam roll it out. I'm like, no, you don't foam roll fractured ribs, or you're going to break them even more. So I am on the mend. I'm scheduled to be at the next event, March 12th in Boca Raton.
Let's go.
You guys would love this. We're doing, when is this going to air? I don't know if I can leak this yet. Is this going to post soon?
Whenever. We can post it whenever.
I'll tell you later, but May 11th is going to be a huge crossover event for wrestling and something that you guys will love. So that's going to be awesome. But long story short, I'm now in that world because I love using a different platform where people aren't expecting me to be, to promote my stuff. So the fact that I am a challenge veteran and I can do local news and TV and talk about that all day long, but when they see me wrestling, that just gives them another kind of iron in the fire. So Matthew Mashler and Neil the Heel do it right. It's top notch. All the guys walk in and like, wow, there's catering back here. We've never had catering. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're usually like in an alley with no air conditioning. So they treat the wrestlers right. That's why all the wrestlers are now fighting to come back on each card. It's kind of like a family now because we've done 3 or 4. And he takes all the wrestlers out after for steak dinners. I mean, it is an event. So
That's like a class act move, honestly.
Yeah.
It's definitely legit. It's very legit.
So Demario, I think I hit all the stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Matt and Neil, they're also members of Mania Club, and how you and I kind of got into each other's bubbles is, through Mania Club, we've raised over $150,000 for Connor's cure. And starting with the pandemic, with wrestling, you couldn't really go out and go to events and do meet and greets. So for some odd reason, I don't really remember how, but I stumbled and met up with Omar, who said, hey, we could do these virtual meet and greets with wrestlers and raise money for Give Kids the World. And then that's how I got into Give Kids the World and started getting into the WWE / Give Kids the World connection. And then when I would go to events, I'd see Matt and Neil and I'd be like, hey, what's going on, guys? And then I'd see Mark and I'd be like, what's Mark on? Like, can I say what's up? And they're like, hey, he's a normal guy. Just go there and say what's up. And then after the first 1 or 2 times, I was like, no, I don't want to be that guy. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of looked at me like, are you going to say hi? Like, we're all the same VIP events. We're all going and interact with the same people. So finally connected. And when we got the board that comes out every year that says, hey, here are the top 20 donors for Hearts Reality. And, with me being part of Mania Club, we want to try to at least get in the top 10, top 5 is our focus for this year. And we started seeing Mark pass us. And this past year, he finished 1 step ahead of us. And we're like, okay, well, now, we love him, but at the same time, we got to finish him next year.
Mario, are you like me when they do that announcement? Doesn't that fire you up to beat the next person next year?
It does. You immediately go and you say, okay, how many dollars do I need to get to pass this person? And we just immediately go to the Mania Club Facebook page and say, okay, we got an auction, or we got a drive, or a donation train that we're going to do to try to raise some money. But it's poster board material, and Omar and the folks that Give Kids the World love giving us that. Obviously, like Mark is saying, that the impact that it has at the end is way beyond that. But that challenge thing that you all were talking about, where it's like, no, I want to one up this person next to me, is definitely there.
It's so amazing because you see on the families, you see real tears of joy, and which is always nice. It brings these families to tears, which then brings all of us to tears. But it's just, what you're doing is going to something great, and it makes you feel awesome when you leave. I wish we did it twice a year, to be honest, but I mean, I get that we only do it once a year. It's just an amazing time, man.
So one of the things that we do is, in April, so coming up during WrestleMania for Mania Club, we have a tailgate where we kind of celebrate the success that we had for Connor's Cure and close our year out there. But we also are starting to use that to springboard into, we got the second half of this piece of the year to start driving and getting more money for Give Kids the World. And I guess since I'm doing kind of a slight promo for the tailgate, I'll give you the link so you can post that if you want to buy tailgate tickets. But we use that to springboard into going into Hearts Reality and really showing the amazing event that is. And like Mark's saying, you go into there and there's a room where it literally posts stars all over the room, and it shows each individual that's been at the facility, and it shows, one, obviously, that there is a need, and you see the impact of the need, and that you realize that the need is constant. And like Mark's saying, we need multiple events to get people there. So from a Mania Club perspective, I guess I'm also breaking news. We usually take our top donors within Mania Club. We're going to take them down to Give Kids the World in May. So Mark, I might actually text you and be like, hey, can you stop by for the day? Take them down to Give Kids the World so they can see Give Kids the World, see the environment, see where their money's going towards, see the impact of what they're doing, and really give them an opportunity to really see the impact. Because it's like Mark saying, when you see it, it really changes you. For me, I remember the first time I went there and I cried because it was really an amazing venue.
It's an amazing thing you guys are doing, and even breaking some Mania Club news. I don't usually get to do that kind of stuff on the reality guys, which is funny. So I'm sure some of the jelly beans watching right now will pop for that, and some of our other friends shout out to Mania Club guys. Yeah, so like I said, as far as circling out, guys, this is definitely going to be something as far as reality, guys. We're going to be driving. Demario set us up with a link. It's in our email, so we're going to get that set up tonight. We'll have a reality guys page and link. It'll be on all the videos. We're going to post it every single time. I'm going to mention it, and we're going to try to figure out little kind of incentives throughout the year for the audience to donate, you know, whether it be a show that we don't normally cover, we'll cover if we hit something. And I know tonight, once we get set up, Mark, in honor of your first appearance here on the reality guys, I'm going to put our first donation in for Kids the World Village. So
thank you. Love it.
Really, and really excited.
Billy and Brian, if you guys get the chance, I mean, you guys are reality fans. You got to come swing through, man. You guys would you'll have a ball, and you'll know you're doing something great, but you'll have a ball beside that.
I think it's in December, right?
I'm a part-time reality fan. Like on the totem pole, you guys are at a 10, I'm at like a 3. And when I went there, it was an amazing event. And you know, the amount of just stars that are there from reality, wrestling, and they're just partying, and you're literally partying alongside with them. So it's awesome. It's definitely an amazing weekend.
No, it's for sure a goal of mine this year. I know I've talked to Demario already.
December.
So it's got to give time to plan away. I won't speak for Brian. Brian had twin baby girls this year, so I won't speak for Brian.
My hands are pretty full.
Billy,
doing this and taking care of 2 kids.
Billy's coming solo.
All I have right now as far as children is like an annoying cat and a dog who want to have dinner right now and are sitting behind my desk. But you know, besides that, I can pretty much make it. So it is a goal of mine. I already told my wife about it. I see the date, so I think it would be great. And like I said, want to get more kind of involved, talk to more people throughout the year, more of the reality stars who are involved. Want to keep this top of mind for everybody. Don't want this to kind of be like a one and done and just throw the link out there. We're definitely going to be pushing the efforts throughout the year. So
awesome. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Demario, Brian, and Bill.
No, for sure. Mark, thank you so much for your time. Demario, thank you for the introduction. Thank you for everything you do. Demario is not selling himself up and out. He is one of the most generous people I have ever met in my entire life. Huge philanthropist. Any of these organizations he's involved in, not only is he donating and sourcing out, he's putting his own, what he would like to say, time, money, and energy into it. And so, you know, he puts the work in behind the words, guys. So like I said, if we can do a little bit to help, we're here to do that and continue to be a little bit entertaining for everybody. So
awesome.
But go ahead, Mark.
Are you going to be there March 12th, Demario, or no?
I plan on being there March 12th.
Mario, if you don't make March 12th, May 7th is the one you want to definitely make. I'm just going to leave it at that.
See, now I gotta figure out what you're talking about on the side. I can't wait.
Tease.
If it's an either or for you, wait till May. Trust me.
I love this. I love the teases. Love the teasers here. Everyone, like I said, you can check out our Reality Guys page for the Hearts of Reality, Give Kids the World. It will be here in all of our video links. Also, we'll link the stuff like Demario said about Mania Club and our tailgate event that's going to be at WrestleMania 39 out in Los Angeles this year. It's going to be an awesome, awesome time. And looking forward to next year, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. So definitely going to be a lot more crossover Reality Guys, Mania Club, everybody. But for myself, Brian, Mark, Demario, thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you guys. Thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I love it.